Ooh, what's up, nerds and geeks? My name is OMG WTF. Hello to WBRB. Welcome back to Total Extreme Wrestling 2016. We are playing as the WWF in the year 2001, booking the invasion angle, and tonight we'll be running everyone's favorite show of Sunday Night Heat, and it's a doozy, everyone. I'm actually really curious to see how this show does. I think it'll do bad, but I'm still curious to see how it does. Either way, though, let's just not even waste any time and just jump right into this, shall we? As our opening match is for the WCW Cruiserweight Championship, and my money is going to say that this might be our best match of the night, as Alex Wright continues what's honestly probably going to be a great week for him, because I can't imagine NWA not using him as well. If he loses the title, probably not, but wait, he's not the NWA. No, he is. Yes, I was right. Alex Wright is the current NWA Wildside Heavyweight Champion, so if he loses it, then maybe it'll be a bad week for him. But either way, he's up here on Heat tonight, challenging for the Cruiserweight Championship, just because he's been so impressive. We have a bout that had subpar wrestling and little heat to it, which, that says something, as Billy Kidman goes over Alex Wright, Das Wonder Kid, with the Shooting Star press to it, making his fifth defense of the Cruiserweight Championship. Billy with a 64, Das Wonder Kid with a 50. Still not a bad in-ring performance. I mean, come on, he's only 14 points behind Billy Kidman. I mean, that's a lot. Let's not lie, but we've seen worse on some of the other people here. We then go into a 56 C- here. Billy has just won the match, but of course, for the second week in a row, Spike Dudley's music hits instead, and out comes the youngest Dudley boy, clapping for Billy, and he says, "Congratulations, my friend. That's 2 weeks in a row that you didn't need Tori's help to win. But I see you haven't accepted my challenge yet. Is it because you're afraid that you can't do it without Tori, and you don't want to be exposed in front of all your loving and adoring fans?" It's when Billy finally steps up with the mic and he says, "Shut up, Spike. It has nothing to do with Tori and everything to do with you. I beat you, and that's all that matters to me. And you just haven't earned your shot, man. But I'll tell you what, next week on Heat, I'll give you a non-title match. And if you beat me, then you'll have earned another shot for this title." And then Spike says, "You know what, okay. But I want a stipulation added to that match. When I beat you next week, Tori is banned from ringside for our title match." And then Billy, he's just tired of Spike in general, and he's just like, "You know what, whatever, Spike, whatever you want, you're on." And that confirms a match for next week's Sunday Night Heat, as we will see a non-title match between Spike and Billy Kidman. And if Spike's able to pull out the victory this week, or next week I should say, he will have earned himself a WCW Cruiserweight Championship match. And if he does win, Billy Kidman's girlfriend, banned from ringside. Win-win for Spike next week. But he did underperform this week. Tori, of course, based on sex appeal, looked good, which, not surprising. We then follow into a 59 solid C rating here next, as we're backstage and we see Head Chop. They're hanging out when they're approached by Perry Saturn and the Big Boss Man, their opponents from last week. Obviously still holding a grudge. Perry Saturn says, well, look what we have here, Boss Man. Visiting the two losers from last week. Don't you two have anything to say this week, huh? Not after we beat you, huh? And then Al Snow goes, No, it's not that. It's just, when's the last time you washed Moppy? Because I'm sure you two've kissed more than once, and man, does your breath stink? And then Funaki's like, your breath stinks really bad. And then Perry Saturn, obviously, embarrassed, goes, hey, you shut up! And that's when Boss Man steps in between him. Sorry if I screamed in your guys' there. No one's home, so I'm a little louder than usual. He steps in between, him, I guess Head Chop and Perry Saturn. He says, easy now, Perry. You two got two big mouths that you just can't seem to keep shut. So how's about old Boss Man shut 'em for you? Starting with you, old friend. And he looks at Al Snow when he says that, and Snow goes, oh, you want to go? Because that's fine with me, old man, because you and I still have unfinished business, and I may be a little crazy, but I'll never forgive you for what you've done. And Boss Man just smiles and chuckles at him. He goes, I'll see you out there then. And that leads into a commercial break that gets us a solid C rating here with the 59. Not too bad here. Before that, the match actually takes place, but though we have our This Week in the WWF segment, which highlights the angles, I guess, or events that took place on Monday Night Raw and Thursday Night Nitro. This week we highlighted the Chris Jericho, Christian Edge angle, where, of course, we have our match. He gets beat down, and that leads to Goldberg making his, I guess, I wouldn't call it a Monday Night Raw debut, but his first ever, appearance on Monday Night Raw, as he runs Jericho and Christian off, and then proceeds to help Edge up just to hit him with a jackhammer suplex. And then we also covered the DDP, Kurt Angle, Giant, and Booker T matches, where Booker T told Kurt, find yourself a partner on from the WCW roster if you really believe you can unify these brands, which Kurt Angle did in Diamond Dallas Page, but it came back in, it didn't really do him much good, I should say. Not only did they not have good chemistry as a team, but DDP got chokeslammed and pinned by the Giant, who has a personal grudge against him, saying that he's going to turn his back on WCW. We then lead into our, I almost called it our main event, it is not our main event. We lead into our next match here with a solid C rating here with a 59. In a poor match, Al Snow going over Big Boss Man in 9 minutes 35 seconds after, Funaki distracted him. So I'd imagine at ringside, Funaki goes over, because Moppy's just kind of, chilling on the side while Perry Saturn's rooting for Boss Man. I didn't make Saturn or Funaki the managers, so that's my bad. But whatever. I think Funaki's actually Al Snow's manager, but who cares? Either way, Funaki goes over and picks up Moppy and starts, running around the ring with her, kind of mocking Perry Saturn as Saturn chases him. Bossman gets a little distracted by this, which leads to Al Snow getting a quick roll-up on him. 1, 2, 3. Al Snow beats Big Boss Man, slides out of the ring. Saturn tosses Moppy, or not Saturn. Funaki tosses Moppy into the ring, which leads to Saturn going in and checking on her. And that leads to the end of the match, yeah. So we get a 56 in-ring performance from Boss Man. Al Snow got a 61. No worker improvements here. As we lead into a 53 C- here. Head chop. They're celebrating Al Snow's victory on the rampway. Perry Saturn's in the ring checking on Moppy. Snow and Funaki are kind of just going on, kind of a overacting, I guess. You know what I mean? Just overreaction to winning this match. Big Boss Man's pissed off. Perry Saturn takes the mic and he says, what the fuck, do I have a lisp now? You two think you're so funny, don't you? Using Moppy to distract Boss Man just long enough to cheat your way to victory. You two are a joke. And Funaki, what'd I tell you about touching my girl? Now you're gonna pay for it. Why don't you step in here and try those tricks on me, little man? And then Funaki's kind of taken aback for a second, but he's like, I don't back down from a challenge. And Al Snow's like, are you sure? And Funaki's like, oh, I'm sure. And he slides into the ring, and we lead into our impromptu main event of the night. Perry Saturn versus Funaki. That's why I'm kind of curious to see how this does, because Funaki is in the main event. We lead into the match, which gets, honestly, not a bad rating here. It is the worst match of the night. A 51 D+ rating here. And about that had subpar wrestling and little heat to it. Funaki going over Perry Saturn pretty much with the same shenanigans as Al Snow now leads to the distraction. I'd imagine more of a hands-on approach from Al Snow here, as Saturn maybe gets a right hand from Snow, which leads to Funaki rolling him up for a quick pin. 1, 2, 3, and Funaki beats Perry Saturn in the main event of Sunday Night Heat, which gets a Perry Saturn gets a 63 rating, and Funaki with a 51. As we end off the show here, I made Funaki a lower mid-carder, so if I didn't do it, I don't know what that main event would have got. Could have pretty much gotten the same thing, but either way, at least we didn't get that dumb, notification saying, oh, you use Funaki too much on the show. Either way, solid C rating here with a 63. Never in my life would I have guessed that this Sunday Night Heat would have gotten that rating, so there you go. I'm pushing Funaki hard, you guys. I've always been a Funaki fan. He's always made me laugh, from his Kai and Tai days to being SmackDown's #1 announcer to even Kung Funaki. I just enjoy Funaki's work. He's a good guy. Alright, looks like we're going to be going in the order of HWA to NWA to OVW. But we got a couple things here. What do we got? Hold on. Dustin Rhodes is rising. I believe he works for XPW. Yes, he does. I don't think he'll work for us. No, he would. We could hire him. Look, and I'm pretty sure, yeah. I think hiring Dustin Rhodes is an excellent idea. He'll be a great addition to the company. We're not going to hire him. We could shortlist him, though. So let's go ahead and add Goldust to the shortlist. Bubba Ray Dudley took part in an interview last night on one of the interesting facts he let slip in the radio interview, was that he gets very nervous, especially when he's pretty high up on the card. No bueno, Bubba. No bueno. And Alex Shane, I believe he's on our short list, actually, is going to... No, not blacklist. Please don't. Yes, he is on our short list. He is going to HWA. A lot of people are going to that place. Isn't that like a Australian company or something? No, Scotland. They're hiring a lot of people. Alex Shane. Okay, maybe not a lot of people. I'm just getting all the notice. Cannonball Grizzly, which is kind of interesting because I've been watching Tone Pepperone on YouTube. If you guys don't watch him, check him out. He does a daily series on Twitch where he books Total Extreme Wrestling. And he has his own, it's like based in the 1980s, and he's been booking it up local to global. And Cannonball Grizzly is one of the people on there, so it kind of cracks me up that I've seen him there. Cupid Valentino, wow. Hade Vanson, interesting. Honky Tonk Man as a color commentator. Robbie Brookside. Is that Rockstar Spud? I don't know. Ted DiBiase, what are you doing? Oh, he's a road agent. And Wolf. Alright, so they are getting people who are from England, pretty much. Interesting. Either way, let's go ahead and get to what we all like to see. But before we can get to that, let's just get through this. We already know that, and that's fine. Let's go ahead and check our developmental company shows. So first show would be HWA. Apparently they did the worst. So we got a 46 solid D rating here from HWA. Getting 620 people selling out there. Not bad. Charlie Haas going over easy money with a 35 rating here. Not too shabby. Yang defeating Chad Coiler with a 45 solid D rating here to retain his HWA Cruiserweight Championship. The A Squad going over Future Shock. I believe the A Squad are the Javolskis. Yep, Shet Javolski and... there he is. Dean Javolski defeating Future Shock, BJ Whitmer, and Logan Kane. E29 rating there. And then Shannon Moore retaining his HWA Heavyweight Championship against... Not Lash Lazaro, not Lash, that's his real name. The 48D plus here over Corporal Cajun. We then lead into NWA. NWA getting the 48D plus rating here. Huh. Big show though, good lord, they had a lot going on. Open up the night with TNT going over the Boogaloo Crew with a 40D minus rating here. Boogaloo Crew, of course, being Scotty Wren and JC Daz. And I guess TNT is Todd Sexton and Tony Santorelli. Okay. We did have an interview with Caprice Coleman with a 59 rating here. John Phoenix going over Lazarus with a 37D minus rating here. Then we have Adam Jacobs retaining his NWA Georgia Junior Heavyweight Championship over Colt Cabana and Jimmy Rave with a 52D plus rating here. I believe the only developmental star is Colt Cabana. We have an interview with Carlito Cool that gets a 56 rating here, and then Jason Cross and Onyx defeating Bad Attitude to retain their NWA Wildside Tag Team Championships with a 52D plus rating here. Of course, Jason Cross and Onyx are right there, and I'm guessing that Bad Attitude right here, or I know who Bad Attitude, they're David Young and Rick Michaels. We then have a confrontation, which will lead to our main event, between Road Dogg and Sean O'Hare with the 54C minus rating there. There you go, taking advantage of that. And then Ernest the Cat Miller going over David Flair, almost said David Young, with the 38D minus there. And then in the main event, I believe Road Dogg making his debut. 1 second. Yep, no, I'm wrong. He lost to David Flair. Huh. Either way, though, going over Sean O'Hare in the main event of NWA with a 53 rating here. And out of curiosity, I want to see if that's their best match. I don't think it is, but it might be. Wrong thing. Top 100 is what we're looking for. Nope, Alex Wright and AJ Styles with that B rating there. Not even close to the best match, actually. AJ Styles is pretty much their guy. But he most likely was at Noah last night. In fact, he was. That's why he didn't wrestle. So there you have it. And surprise, surprise, they gave Das Wonder Kid the night off. They let him take a night off, probably because I used him a bunch. It's a shame. They would have used him. They might have gotten a C. And then, to my surprise, OVW pulling out the best match, or best show of this week, with a 52D+. As we open up the night with Maven retaining the OVW Light Heavyweight Championship against Shelton Benjamin with a 35E+. Then Nikita going over Lou Fisto with a 31E+ to retain the OVW Women's Championship. Flash Flanagan going over Fit Finley with a 53C-. And then the main event of the night, Rob Conway going over Randy Orton with a 54C- to retain the OVW Heavyweight Championship. So anyone curious here, our current champions, or world champions, whatever you want to call them, just champions in general for the developmental company. Mr. Black currently on his second reign as the OVW Hardcore Champion. Rob Conway on his fourth reign as the OVW Heavyweight Champion. Maven currently on his first reign as the Light Heavyweight. Flash Flanagan and Payne are the OVW Southern Tag Team Champions on their first reign. And Nikita is just the first women's champion in general for OVW. NWA. Adam Jacobs, the current Georgia Junior Heavyweight Champion. I always want to put the junior first. Alex Wright, the current NWA Wildside Heavyweight Champion. And Jason Cross and Onyx, the current Tag Team Champions. All three gentlemen in their first reigns as champion. And then finally, Heartland Wrestling Association, we have Yang in his first reign as the Cruiserweight Champion. Shannon Moore in his first reign as Heavyweight Champion. And Dean Jabolski, the Ace Squad, in their first reign as Tag Team Champions. Let's move forward, shall we? In fact, I'm going to do multi-advance real quick. Let's just go ahead and do a multi-advance, save options, and we will simulate up to... Hold up! I'm glad I didn't do that, because I still need to change Armageddon, because Armageddon is currently scheduled for this Sunday, and I would like it to be Week 4. I don't know why. I'm just a fan of having my pay-per-views in Week 4. I've done that all the time. It's just easier to book. So let's advance to our next show. We should be interrupted if anything happens. And if not, then we're good. We can end this off and get a preview of young talents like Apocalypse. Or, I missed them. Never mind. I was going to say, or this person. Nope, nothing between those couple of days. I did miss some news, so maybe I won't do that. That's the whole point of this. Ugh, idiot. I shouldn't have done that. Well, let me just double check to see if any of our companies ran any shows the last time. Because sometimes they have, like, special events and stuff, so... They could run shows. Anyway. History... Nope, that was that last show. And then last one would be OVW. Which that was the last show too. So no, we didn't miss really anything, but I'm not going to do that ever again. I wish I didn't have done that, because I forgot the whole point of doing these was to kind of like get a view of the news going on. And we completely missed all the news. So that was stupid. That was very stupid of us. Either way, let's go ahead and check out some storylines and whatnot before we end this off, since this is going to be a rather quicker episode since I skipped all those days. So storylines are all doing good. We kind of already checked them at the end of Nitro, so no real changes here. Creative Meeting still shows Rock as our #1 star with Austin right behind him. And then we have Jericho, Taker, and Triple H. Next big things are Albert, Edge, Molly Holly, Trish Stratus, and Test. I don't think that's ever changed. Jeff, Molly, Trish, Matt, and Grandmaster Sexay are hot prospects. Interesting. Rock, Austin, Jericho, Flair, and Taker all can talk the talk, which not many people have said that about Taker, so I don't know if we've done that, but good on that. And then we have Jericho, Rock, Angle, Eddie, and Benoit as our showstoppers. Benoit, Jericho, Triple H, Angle, and Rock are our ring generals. Currently, Rhino, The Undertaker, Giant, Sabu, and Billy Kidman are considered hot, while Steven Richards, Hardcore Holly, The One, Billy Gunn, Ivory, and Grandmaster Sexy are not. DDP and Dean Malenko continue to be the only two people in time decline, and our current hidden gems are Claudio Cascanoli, aka Cesaro, Nova, Tajiri, Matt Stryker, your teacher, and C.W. Anderson. What else did I want to... let's go ahead and do an auto push and see where everyone falls. Because I know right now Funaki's like a lower mid-card or so. We will go to our enhancement talents first. We have Funaki, Jamie Noble, and Jerry Lynn. Our openers are Chavo Guerrero, Justin Credible, Scotty 2 Hotty, Spike Dudley, Steve Blackman, and Tommy Dreamer. Damn, come on, Tommy. I really would prefer you to be in that lower mid-card. We just need to get you a little bit more up there. His popularity has been increasing, so there's nothing to complain about. I mean, as you can see, he's already gotten some C's in places he didn't have before, specifically New England. And he's at a D rating in majority of places, whether it's a minus, plus, or just average. So he's getting up there. I feel we can get him to lower mid-card before Armageddon. Speaking of lower mid-carders, we have the one Billy Gunn, Billy Kidman, Dean Malenko, Grandmaster Sexay, Hardcore Holly, Sabu, Steven Richards, and the Good Father. Our mid-card talents at the moment are Al Snow, Big Boss Man, Bradshaw, Eddie Guerrero, Hugh Morris, Jeff Hardy, Lance Storm, Lord Steven Regal, Mark Jindrak, Matt Hardy, Perry Saturn, Raven, Rick Steiner, Rikishi, Rob Van Dam, Sean Stasiak, and finally, Vampiro. And then our upper mid-card talents are Albert, Chris Benoit, Christian, Chuck Palumbo, Edge, Canyon, Kurt Angle, Rhino, Ron Simmons, Scott Steiner, and Test. And then finally, the main event talents. We have Booker T, Chris Jericho, Diamond Dallas Page, Goldberg, Kane, Ric Flair, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Giant, The Rock, The Undertaker, and Triple H. But that'll do it for this episode. Again, my apologies for simulating in advance. Kind of wish I wouldn't have done that, but can't go back, and I'm definitely not going to go back. So again, hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have, do me a favor. Leave me a comment, like, and subscribe if you have not already. And as always, my name's been OMGWTF, LOL to WBRB, and I will see you guys for Monday Night Raw. But until then, have a good day.